This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Carol. Carol talks for a living, from morning till night. So she relies on Flow's crystal clear home phone service brought to her through Flow's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her in the know, and because she bundles her mobile broadband and TV services, she enjoys huge savings, so she can enjoy much more for much less. So visit any Flow retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
It's Tuesday, March the 1st, 2016, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. In our top story, opposition Barbados Labour Party Member of Parliament for St. James South Central, Kerrie Symmonds, has promised the mother of all confrontations if the government moves to repeal the Catastrophe Fund Act. Symmonds is charging that the governing Democratic Labour Party wants to create a slush fund for what he called narrow political partisan purposes. He told Barbados Today of his concern regarding a media report that Minister of Finance Chris Sinclair intended taking to Cabinet a proposal to abandon the act which established the fund set up to assist needy Barbadians in times of disaster.
I want to make my position abundantly clear as a sitting member of Parliament. And I say to Christopher Sinclair and to the entire Democratic Labour Party that they need to wheel and come again on this matter. This proposed course of action will cause the mother of all confrontations in Barbados, because the Democratic Labour Party cannot, in any sense, have it both ways. They came to office by alleging corruption and misuse of public funds, and now today they wish to dismantle a catastrophe fund which serves as a shining example of best practices in the management of public funds in Barbados. And it does so for a number of reasons, the first of which is that its governance structure is sound because it removes politicians and political patronage from the administrative process of choosing who is and who is not provided with disaster relief money. Secondly, the fund is placed under professional and independent fund management in the form of the National Insurance Scheme of Barbados. And it is therefore a neutral and transparent fund manager who can dispense the money involved. But last, and certainly not least, is the fact that the existing arrangements under the Catastrophe Fund place a duty on applicants themselves to establish that their claim is legitimate.
Meanwhile, supporters of the ruling Democratic Labour Party have been assured that they should not panic over a recent unfavourable poll because money will soon be flowing in the economy. Minister of Transport and Works Michael Lashley suggested that he expected the DLP's standing among the electorate to improve after the administration rolls out a number of major projects. A nationwide poll conducted by Systematic Marketing and Research Services, Inc., and released last week found that 62% of Barbadians favored a change of government, while the Francis Stewart administration received an overall failing grade. The greatest disfavor was in the handling of the economy and the unemployment situation, with 65% rating government a failure in dealing with the economy and 75% criticizing its handling of the unemployment situation. The poll also found only 20% support for the ruling party, with 40% giving the nod to the opposition Barbados Labour Party and 34% undecided. However, Lashley promised party faithfuls at a St. Michael West Branch meeting Sunday night that there would be jobs aplenty in the coming months, with the approval of a US $10 million loan for road works. Businessman Ralph Busy Williams says he wants nothing to do with Anderson Fairchild Sherry and his newest recycling venture. In fact, Williams said yesterday he was quite concerned that Sherry was pressing ahead with a proposed $65 million recycling and composting plant at Vaucluse in St. Thomas without the necessary town and country planning permission. Last week, Sherry admitted to Barbados Today that he has begun clearing the 67.9-acre site, although he was still to get the green light from government to go ahead with the project. At the same time, Sherry invited Williams, whose SBRC facility handles the bulk of government's waste disposal, to to cut him a slice of the state's garbage processing and handling business. Pointing out that SBRC currently gets $24 million a year, Kerrie also argued for other private waste haulers to get a share of the government business. However, Williams has flatly turned down Kerrie's proposal, saying he was not prepared to go back on his contract with the government.
With SBRC to ensure the proper management of waste in Barbados. They wrote specifications, and those people who tendered on the contract were required to obey those specifications. And now Mr. Kerrie is coming along, and he is writing his own rules and deciding what he is going to do, and thumbing his nose at the government that has been elected by the people of Barbados. So what more can you ask? And now he's asking me to go along with him and flaunt the law.
It's now up to Minister of Labour Dr. Esther Bayersaku to seek to broker a settlement to the airport pay dispute. Yesterday, talks between the Grantley Adams International Airport, Inc. and the National Union of Public Workers broke down at the level of the Chief Labour Officer, Vincent Burnett, who reported at the end of a 3-hour-long meeting that the dispute would be referred to the Minister of Labour. Burnett would only add that the talks were cordial, but the airport's Chief Executive Officer, David Barrow, declined comment when he and his colleagues emerged from the talks at the Warren's St. Michael offices of the Labour Department. However, NUPW General Secretary Rosalind Smith remained adamant that a 3.5% pay hike was owed to the airport workers since 2010-2011 and that it must be paid.
Obviously, we would have to report to the council the status of the issue between GAIC and NUPW, and based on that, then we would make recommendations to the council, and in the meantime, we will keep our members informed, and we will be calling on our other members within various sections to bring them up to date on the issue.
In sports now, West Indies, who already started the ICC World 2020 Tour by beating Zimbabwe in the warm-up match, are preparing to face two tougher competitors. West Indies are slated to play India in Kolkata on March the 10th and then Australia on March the 13th, all warm-up games.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
God, these papers ain't selling at all. Get your paper. Only $2.25, get your paper, miss. Look, take it, I can pay for it.
Barbados today, all the way.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Turning now to news from the region, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Prison Officers Association, Ciron Richards, says officers are under attack by criminal elements inside the prison walls. Following the recent murder of another prison officer, Richards says the state needs to act to safeguard prison officers.
He was brutally gunned down with impunity. Again, sending a clear message to not just the prison service, but to the country and law enforcement as a whole. The criminal elements are telling us that they do not care about institutions, they do not care about country, they certainly do not care about law enforcement officials. And what is very disheartening and continues to be disheartening is the response of successive governments as it regards to this serious situation.
In expressing condolences to the family of the fallen officer, Minister of National Security Edmund Dillon has given the assurance that his murder is receiving the full attention of law enforcement officials. On the international scene, new research gives the first evidence that the Zika virus might cause a severe neurological disorder called Guillain-Barré syndrome. The study was carried out using blood samples from 42 patients who became ill in a previous outbreak. The Lancet authors say they developed these neurological problems around 6 days after Zika infection. Leading scientists described the study as compelling. Zika was declared a public health emergency of international concern by the World Health Organization early in February. And that's news and sports. However, you can join us again this afternoon for more. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.